Hey everyone, welcome in to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the free-to-play. Today is the 17th of April, and being the day that it is, it's after midnight. It's like 1:15 morning. But only because I got to talking to some people before I left work. There's a guy that comes in place, and I had a feeling about him, and I just mentioned something to him, and they sort of got a chuckle out of him. Anyway, we started going back and forth, talking a little bit, and pretty good talk. So that's the reason why we're a little bit behind where we usually are. But tonight, my friends, we have a question to answer. And the question is tonight the night that we can put this ship to bed? I don't know yet, but we're going to go ahead and top up our crystal. We're going to go ahead and get all our crystals we can. All the 50s. I mean, we could probably do it pretty easy if we did the 100s too, but we'll see. Let's see what happens here. All right. That brings us to 8 more. Let's do one more. See what happens. That's only one, so that gets us 7. I would have said if we could have got the 5, I would have been tempted to keep going. If we could have got the 50%, meaning 5 out of 10 pulls, I'd have been very tempted to keep going. But seeing as we only got 3, I'm like, let's just hold up a little bit. Let's just hold up. Let's just keep our powder dry. Maybe it'll get done tomorrow. It's not a big deal. It's just, I'm kind of looking forward to Scion not being on my screen, if you can imagine that. Not that we won't still have to level him and put all the stuff on him, but we just won't have to farm him anymore. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to being able to farm somebody else. Look at that. We got a 12 pull on Talon. It's okay. Take that. By the way, I want to let you know that if you forgot Friday, which is today's Thursday because it's after midnight, but you get a episode about 8 o'clock tomorrow night, or you know what I'm saying. And then Friday we're gonna pause the Talon farm, and we're gonna start on the signal data farm for these cats. And you can call me crazy, but I think maybe we'll just do each one. We'll do each one. We'll go start on the first one. We'll go to 1,000 on the first one. And let's not kid ourselves. This is not going to happen overnight. But we're going to do 1,000 on the first one. So 1,000 on this whatever it's called, this here, that fragmented signal data. So we're going to go till we get 1,000. And then we'll come over here to the incomplete, and we'll go to 1,000 on it. And then we'll come down here to the last one, which is the flawed signal data. And we'll go to that. And then once we do that, that's when we'll start actually bringing the characters up. So, you can look forward to that. Just know that, hey, this guy's kind of a lunatic. He's going to go all the way to 1,000 on each of his signal data before he brings his characters up. And the first 3 we're going to do, just are the hardest 3, and that is Kylo and Mask, Kylo and Poppy. And then once I feel like after we get all 3 of those, those 3 done, it's gonna be like, it's just gonna be like, and so, as soon as we get the ship done, also, because I haven't showed you this yet, but I'm gonna show you it now, because I did this earlier today. All these abilities on the ship are done. The last one I had to do was this one. I did this one today. So it's done, and it's just waiting. And then I also got the reinforcer boss, so Bosk is good to go. And I was going to do that, but I decided to work a little bit on here, so we're done. So, are we done with this? How did I miss this? Okay. Guess I'm done with the slave 1 too. And so I think I got this here. And so we're getting close on the TIE Advanced. And so we got the TIE Advanced and the Xanadu Bloods here also. And then of course we'll have this thing, but we're not ready. We're not. I think that'll come after Shock T. So I'm gonna farm up Shock T, and then we'll start on the 1 pun. And then, of course, we'll have to come back and do this at some point. But, actually, I could probably move this up here, but I don't really want to until I get done with until we get done with these 2. Then after we get done with these 2, then I'll bring the IG 2000 up, because this one is going to be done. This one's going to be done super soon, and then we'll just go to these 2. And then as soon as we get these 2, then all we have to do is the IG 2000 and the 1 pun, or the pun 1, whatever you want to call it. But that's what's happening. All right, so we mentioned signal data, we mentioned fleet energy. Now we're going back and we're getting, we're working on this guy, and I'm just like, I don't know if you've noticed, but I started doing these. Oh, hey, there's stuff there. Yeah, let's make it a little easier on us and get some pie so we don't have to do whatever here. That's tempted to do real quick, but no. We got 1,500. Well, we use this here. Did not top up, did I? I was like, no, I didn't. Okay. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've started doing this thing where we just come in here and we just do this, which I got to tell you, when I come and I see the 6 pulls that kind of makes sense. But when I see this and I'm pulling 3, that's where I struggle. I'm like, kind of feel like Cousin A. It's like, are you sure, Clark? Are you sure that's the way it's supposed to work, Clark? But, I don't know. It's weird. I don't feel good about it, but I'm doing it because it's a thing, and I get that. I'm just not happy about it. And that's not your fault. Hey, let's hear. Did I do this yet? I did. I did this already, right? And I did not get any 1 pun shards. And last month, I know that I got 1 pun shards from this. Because, not 1 pun, but Kylo's command shuttle. And in fact, before I did this account, I did it on my original account, and I got command shuttle shards on that, but not on this one, which I was like, I'm just like, it didn't, I was like, why am I not getting this? And it didn't make sense, but I don't know. We're just playing the game. We're just doing our thing. We're just hanging out, doing what we do. But I'm excited to be done with this Kyle Command Shuttle. And you won't ever have to hear me say after we get done with the Kyle Command Shuttle, you won't ever, well, you might, but you won't have to hear it on this account. Because if I decide to do it on that account, you can rest assured that if I decide to go to Kylo for Kylo on another account, that I'm going to be like doing that Command Shuttle node first. And if you're on the fence about Darth Sion, assuming you're not going to buy a pack, do Darth Sion and do it all the way until you have that Command Shuttle. And then even if you don't have any intention of ever going for a slicker, just do it. So you don't ever have to come back to that node. I mean, and I feel like that's one of my, I don't know if any of you ever watched How I Met Your Mother. I did. And Barney has this famous, I only have one rule. And then he has another, I only have one rule. And that's kind of how I see it as, I only have one rule. If you're gonna farm Kylo Command, if you're ever gonna farm the Kylo Ren, do that Darth Sion node first. And so keep that in mind. But we're getting down to it here. Look at here. Look at here. It's tempting us. I mean, we're 4. If we were closer, I might do that, but it don't make sense to do it right now. And you can be like, well, you bought 4 and you could spend another 50 and you'd probably be there. Yeah, that's 450. I'm going to be a little bit more discerning with my crystals right now. But thanks. There's something else we have to consider. All right? And that is something I did not anticipate talking about, but it just sort of popped in my head, and I'm like, maybe we should. And it's not something I'm happy at all to even have to consider. But we know there's a new raid coming, right? And unless you're living under a rock or you just intentionally don't want to know, there's been some speculations about what we're going to need raid-wise. And I've maintained that I'm just going to do this and just figure it out on the other side. Which is still my plan. But this here free-to-play guild, the People's Guild, they're trying to be a little bit more proactive. And what they're wanting people to do, and we can totally see it, right? I think we really can totally see it on the horizon. And I don't know because they've not officially announced it, but it could very well be. And that is, they want people to go for this guy. They're wanting people to go for this guy. And I'm not far away from being able to do this first node, granted, because I did endurance and just whatever. We're not too far away from being able to do this. And then, I'm going to be relicking the geos. So Padme is, if I relic the geos, I can do that easy. I have snaps. I just got to bring her up a little bit more. I have this guy, and we're farming him in the canteen, in the shop, and you just saw me get him. And then we're working on her. Just happenstance. And then there's this guy. And this guy is on the list of stuff that I'm working on. Just not this soon. And that's going to be my big bugaboo, is I'm going to have to go get Ewoks, which I may or may not have already, but... And then, of course, she's at 7 stars, because he's at 7 stars, he's at 7 stars, he's at probably closer than I think. And so this one would have to be another fleet node farm, which I mean, that would be Shock T, then maybe this guy or the one pun. And I'm not a big fan of, but I mean, we might have to, but I'm just going to plow forward with what we're doing for now and worry about all that on the other side. But yeah, I still have energy to use here. But I don't know. I'm not a gas guy. I'm not an Anakin guy. Anakin, I mean, in my opinion, if you're an Anakin guy, then you should go for Anakin. I'm not an Anakin guy. But there is that possibility that the guild might want us to go for Anakin. But that's why we're trying to do these Vanguard first, is in hopes that we can avoid Anakin. Because, I mean, we'll get him at some point. It's not going to be today. It'll be some version of tomorrow, but not soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Otherwise, God bless, hold the line, and I'll see you next time. Bye.